Que lo que mi gente, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been forever since I've done a video like this with my normal, backdrops and everything, but I'm finally back with another video. And today's video is a VBX Familia Speaks video where you guys choose the topic of my video. So for today, you guys already saw the topic. So those more sensitive, touchy subjects, but y'all love the touchy subjects. So I'm just going to read to you guys real quick what this person emailed me, and then I'll just get on with the video. So they said, "Hi, I've been watching your videos for a while and I really enjoy your videos on the DR and its history. I like learning about other cultures and history to better understand the conflicts that are happening now. Since I'm Haitian, I love my Haitian history, especially what happened after the revolution. So my topic suggestion is, should or could the DR and Haiti be reunified? Why or why not? I personally think they shouldn't because we have our own culture and the DR has theirs, and it would be a disservice to why the DR fought for independence in the first place. It would also seem like Haiti would be giving up as its own country." So I just wanted your thoughts on it because I've heard a couple of people say stuff like that, etc., etc. So, disclaimer, okay, because I gotta give my disclaimers. Well, first of all, when we're talking about, just to be clear, when I'm talking about should both countries be reunified or whatever, we're talking strictly about whether they should literally become one nation, okay? I'm not necessarily talking about like the relationship between Dominicans and Haitians, or should we be friendlier with each other? I'm not talking about that. We're talking about both the Dominican Republic and Haiti would cease to exist and it would become one nation, maybe named La Española or something. I don't know. That's what we're referring to. Also, I am not an expert when it comes to the economic and commercial relationship between both countries. I've learned a little bit from like other YouTubers and like things that I've learned over the past year or two, but I'm not an expert on this stuff, you guys. All right. And lastly, if you guys don't already know, I am Dominican, so I hope that I don't come off as biased, but I try to, be fair when I talk on certain things. And yeah, just want to put that out there, okay? So first things first. So in my opinion, do I think that the Dominican Republic and Haiti should unify and become one nation? The short answer is no, okay? Now, as far as why, well, first off, just thinking of it from like a logistics standpoint, and I mentioned this on my last live, I don't really see how that would be possible. For one, you have two groups of people that don't even speak the same language. I mean, sure, there are Haitians that speak Spanish, just like I'm sure there's some Dominicans that may understand or speak Creole or French a little bit. But we have, two different languages here. And somebody mentioned this on a community post when I mentioned that I was going to do this video, but they were like, it would pose the question of, well, who would annex who? Would the DR absorb Haiti or would Haiti absorb the DR? Now, obviously, I think in this situation, and being that Haiti is the poorer of the two, it would mean, DR would absorb Haiti in a sense, even though it probably wouldn't be called the Dominican Republic anymore. But being that, DR has the stronger economy, that is what I assume would happen. But even with that, I just don't see how that would work out. I mean, you're talking about two countries that already have two corrupt governments, two countries that are still technically third world. I mean, sure, DR is a little bit more, I guess you could consider it more of a developing country, but it's still very poor in many areas. So I don't see how taking on that burden, as far as the Haitian economy is concerned, would be beneficial. I just don't see how that would work out. I'm also I don't really know much about Haitian politics or how things run there. But, I feel like Haiti has its own needs that needs to be addressed by their people, and DR has its own needs that needs to be addressed by its people. So again, I don't really know how that would work out. And I've heard people say, I don't know how true this is or not, but that there are, the higher powers that be or outside influences that would, before this, they would be in favor of a unification because they have their eyes on the natural valuable resources that Haiti has. And they believe that these people think that if we were one country and they could kind of push more the Haitians towards the Dominican side, that it would be easier for them to get their hands on like the gold or whatever it is that Haiti has that they want. Again, I don't know how true that is, but that is what I have heard some people say. Okay. So that's just one aspect of it. But I think even like just when it comes down to the people, I think we can all agree that Haitians are very prideful people and Dominicans are very prideful people. Anybody that knows Dominicans, you know that we defend being Dominican to a T, and I'm sure Haitians do the same thing. And like the person that requested this even said, it would kind of be doing a disservice to both parts. And I feel like both countries have such unique histories, and people are proud of their histories and their cultures. That's another big thing. We do have two distinct cultures. Now, when this subject has come up before, I have heard people say, well, of course, I mean, they're not Dominican or Haitian, but I've heard them say, well, y'all on the same island, y'all the same thing anyway, or Dominicans are just Haitians that speak Spanish. Y'all might as well unify and become one country. Okay. Not to go off on a tangent here, but it really annoys me when people say Dominicans are just Haitians that speak Spanish. Like, this isn't even like a jab at Haitians. But it's like, why are people always discrediting our identity? Like, it really just gets on my nerves. And I'm like, what is the basis for even making that statement? Because if you want to get super, super technical, the Spanish had the entire island for almost 200 years before Haiti was even a thought. So I don't know where people are getting the basis for that argument, or when people say things like our blackness comes from Haitians. I'm like, y'all understand the Spanish brought Africans to the island again before Haiti was even a thought. But anyway, just had to put that out there. But going back to like our unique histories and this being something that I think both Dominicans and Haitians would want to hold on to. The Española is really a very unique island with very special history. And if you look at both Haiti and DR, going back to like the colonial times, we really were like the land of many firsts, okay? Like the beginning of so many things. If you look at Santo Domingo for one, Santo Domingo, it was not only the first permanent European settlement in the Americas and the first colony, to have like the first university, the first hospital, the first cathedral. I think it was all in Santo Domingo. But also, we were the first colony to import enslaved Africans. So it's like we're kind of like the cradle of both European expansion into Latin America, but also we were literally the beginning of Black history in the Americas as far as the transatlantic slave trade goes. Like it literally started right there in Santo Domingo, Not just that, but like the first slave rebellion in Española happened, in Santo Domingo. So it's like we were like the beginning of so many things, And then when you look at Haiti, they were the first colony to lead a successful colony-wide slave revolt. They were the first colony to successfully, beat their oppressor. They're the first Black republic in this side of the world. So they too, and that was, an enormous accomplishment for them. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is like the number one thing that Haitians are most proud of. So it's like we both have our, unique histories and our unique cultures. And again, we have our similarities or some similarities because we're on the same island, but we also have our unique identities. And I don't see either people wanting to give that up. Now, I have heard some Dominicans say, that Haitians, they want to unify the island and they're passively invading DR because they've always had this idea that the entire island belongs to them and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, personally, I haven't seen any Haitians say this. I don't believe that this is a very common idea among most Haitians. If any of you guys are listening and are Haitian, please let me know. Like, is this a topic of conversation among y'all's families? Like, do y'all want to unify with DR? I don't know. I don't think that is a common thing. And I know that Dominicans most certainly don't want that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I view it. Now, with all that being said, I do think that there is a lot of room for improvement as far as, rectifying some of those tensions that still exist between both sides, because there is still a lot of, historical things that happened that both Dominicans and Haitians still bring up. They're still not over it. I've said this before on my channel. We've both done each other dirty in the past. And I mean, there's things still going on today that both sides aren't happy about. And it's difficult, I think, from like the Dominican side, because at the end of the day, it's like everything that happens on Dominican soil. Going back to the Haitian occupation of the island in 1822, going back to the multiple invasions afterwards, going back to the massive immigration of Haitians. Haitians make up, like 85% of the immigrant population in DR. It's like everything happens on Dominican soil. So it's hard sometimes knowing how to navigate these situations or talk about them, because most of what I hear is from Dominicans, because again, everything is happening in DR. But even with that, I do think that it would be beneficial if we could somehow, just establish a better relationship with each other. And to that point, I have heard people say, though, that Dominican Americans and Haitian Americans actually tend to get along very well. They don't feel that tension that maybe some Dominicans and Haitians back on the island feel. So I think, honestly, I feel like, I don't know, it might start with those of us that are here, and to kind of maybe, I don't know, bring a different perspective to this whole conversation. But then again, we're not living on the island, so it's hard for us to really say or dictate what is going on or what should happen. And even with, the ones that are on the island, I hear mixed stories. I hear people back in DR say that they get along fine, but then I've heard other people say that they don't. And you see Haitians, you see Dominicans, mistreating Haitians, but then you see Haitians mistreating Dominicans, and they're both committing crimes against each other. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human. No group is perfect. Everybody has its good and bad people. So yeah, guys, that was pretty much my whole perspective on this whole thing. Again, I don't think that it would be beneficial from an economic standpoint, or even just beneficial to the people and to our legacies and to our histories, to basically do away with both countries and become one country. But that's just my opinion. For anyone watching, especially if you are Dominican or Haitian, please leave your comments down below. And also let's try and keep the comments respectful, you guys. I know when it comes to DR and Haiti, it can provoke a lot of emotions, but let's just try and keep it respectful. And for any non-Dominicans listening, let's not turn this into a Dominican bashing in the comments, because I already know how some people get, okay? And yeah, that's it for this video. So hope that you guys enjoyed it. Give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Bye.